Most people hate Mondays, but this Virgo loves a Monday. I love Mondays. Like, I embrace it. It's like my secret weapon for the rest of the week. If I can conquer Mondays with intention, then the rest of the week flows. So here's what my Monday blueprint looks like. First up, toy rotation. That was the first thing I did this morning. Every Monday we swap out the toys in there. It's great because it just makes old toys feel brand new. And especially if I plan on, knocking things off on my to-do list, putting these toys out first thing in the morning is a great way to keep my son busy when I have things to do. Then there's our learning center. This board has become my pride and joy. I remember I wanted to be a teacher back in the day, and putting together this cork board of all the things, most of the things that my son is currently learning, like letters, counting. I even have like a dinosaur of the week. I want to introduce words that rhyme, but I'm afraid to because we're currently learning our letters. Still thinking about that, but I don't know, putting together that cork board just made me feel like the teacher I always wanted to be. That's something new added to our Monday to-do list. Mondays are also my planning days. Like, I'm flipping back and forth in my planner, kind of planning out the rest of the week. I also like to start laundry. Laundry doesn't necessarily have to be done by the end of today, but I have to at least get it started, because if I don't, then I put it off until Thursday. Something new I want to start doing on Mondays, pulling recipes. Doing that on a Monday just makes so much more sense. Like, you pull the recipes, you figure out what ingredients you need, then go to the grocery store, which I did this morning. So we're pretty much set for the rest of the week when it comes to our meals. On that note, I also started using a new insert, 4 boxes horizontally for each day of the week. I don't want to put too much pressure to plan out every meal of the day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But the big thing for me is planning out dinners. I think dinner can sometimes, feel a little, I don't know, like we just don't put much thought into it, like some nights you're just rushing to put something together with whatever you have. Because if I can plan out my dinners, then like lunch the next day is pretty much always covered. So looking forward to using this. Don't know how long it will last, but I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm also still using the cloth and paper half-page inserts for my grocery list. So that's fun, having that there right next to my meal planning insert. And then the other side, this is my week on one page, which I'm pretty sure I shared in my last vlog. I just love this. I love this setup. This setup is just like breathing life into like my planning routine. Today, I've just been referencing my planner so much, and I just love that feeling. I love that feeling when I'm using my planner, because that means that I'm checking things off on my to-do list. I'm being productive. So I'll keep you guys updated on how this all works out. Totally off topic. I bought a laminator, which is what really inspired my learning center. Clearly obsessed. Like, I just find it so satisfying laminating things. So I'm laminating everything that I come across that I'm like, you know what? This could use a lamination. So again, my recipe cards are a perfect product. Dinner. The plan for tonight was to make a rosemary peach bruschetta chicken from, this is Half Baked Harvest cookbook. I've shared this cookbook with you all before. I bought those ingredients, right? But I didn't mean to buy those ingredients. I was actually hoping to make the breaded lemon chicken recipe because I have cherry tomatoes, and if I wait any longer, they're gonna go bad. So this is what I'm actually making tonight. I left you all hanging in last week's vlog. We ended up going back to the original color. The white was disastrous. Like, the white next to our white doors, it looked so bad. I guess when you're doing white on white, you have to find whites that complement one another. So the white that we picked for our wall did not complement our door. If anything, it made our door look so yellow. I guess we are gonna do a fun color in our foyer. I was thinking green. I know, I love green. My son's room is green. So we're gonna just pull the trigger and do green. Now, all of these are really beautiful, but I am not feeling the second row, evergreen fog and elusive green. Those two colors look a little too gray. Those are automatic no's. Now, the very last one here, oak moss, that seems really fun. Like that, I think would look so great with this console and the floors. But as I said in my last vlog, this room doesn't have a window. I don't think oak moss is gonna work because it's just gonna be so dark in here, like unbearably dark. Colonial Revival Greenstone, this one here is my fave. I am a little nervous that it's gonna look more, I wouldn't say lime green, but it's like heading in that direction. We made the right choice by going with a fun color in the foyer. I am obsessed. There's something about this being the first room when you enter the home, like it being earthy and feel very grounded. The wall paint that we picked, the console plus the floors, felt like putting together a puzzle. It just worked. Now, the foyer isn't completely done. I'm still waiting on some wall hooks that I'm going to place above the stool. And then above the hooks, I am looking for a frame, a picture, and I'm going to place that above that. Just to fill in the walls. Because right now I feel like the ground is covered, but we don't really have much on the walls other than the mirror. We were thinking about adding a rug, but I don't know. I just don't even know what color we would pick. I have no idea. And the fact that there's a lot of foot traffic here, there's a really good chance that that rug would get dirty. So I'm thinking the rug would have to be washable. I'm not in a rush to find a rug for that area. There's a shop in LA that sells vases, and they're like old rustic vases. I'm looking for a large one to place here at the top of the console. I think that with some branches coming out of it is gonna look really pretty, and it's gonna fill in the space between the mirror and the console. I've had this pot here temporarily. This is for an outdoor plant, but I don't know. I kind of like it here. Like if I can find a tall plant, I love that idea. Last thing, while we were painting the foyer, we had the console sitting behind the couch. Let me tell you, that inspired me. I loved that look. Why does that just sound so chic and sophisticated? Like that just takes interior design on another level, because most people have their couches tucked against a wall, and the fact that we don't, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to buy a console. I'm kind of excited for that. I'm not rushing to the store to buy a console because that can get pretty pricey. However, if I see one that will go well with the rest of the living room, I might just pull the trigger. This was a lot of fun sharing with you all a little DIY home project. I think the next thing we're doing in our home, hopefully by the end of the year, is closets. We want to have a real closet system. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to that house project. I talked about it earlier in the vlog, but now that I have my planner, today is Sunday. Sundays I like to take time to set up the week. I can now explain in detail what my current weekly setup is. So first things first, I am using the Rosie Undated Week on One Page. To put it simply, I am a fan. I am obsessed with this format. It's quite simple. You get a small section for each day towards the top of the page, a to-do list for the week, a habit tracker, and a notes section. In addition to that, I am using the cloth and paper block planner inserts for meal planning. Who knew that this insert would work for me? As I explained earlier in the vlog, it's meant for planning out dinners, and then I pop in breakfast after the fact. I do a little planning when it comes to breakfast because there are some breakfast dishes that I like to plan out in advance because it requires, some extra ingredients. And I also want to get my 2-year-old involved. If I know we don't have a morning play date or an activity, that's when we'll make something fun for breakfast. I don't know, this is just so useful. I'm loving this insert. I already did some meal planning for the week. So now I'm going to focus on setting up my week. I love this setup because the entire week, like everything that is important, running my household, posting, planning out my son's activities, it's all here on these 2 pages. I'm sure I've said this before, but this is just the most practical setup I've ever had. It's so simple yet functional. And I put so much emphasis on everything being here on these 2 pages because, I've attempted adding new sections to my planner. I'll add like a book tracker back here, something new. Maybe I get a new insert in a cloth and paper sub box. I try it out. But at the end of the day, that system just didn't work for me because I would forget that section was there. And then, I'd try to make time to fill it out. And then if I didn't fill it out, it just ended up turning into a burden. So the fact that these 2 pages are side by side makes such a difference in how much I use both of these. I hope that makes sense. Like, I really hope that I'm making sense right now. I plan on coming out with my July end of month flip through this Thursday, a cloth and paper sub box unboxing in the next vlog. I received a notification that was delivered this morning, so I'll probably record that sometime this week. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.